I was questioning whether my lifelong call to ministry had come to a sudden end. But by the end of the wellness retreat, I had found strong affirmation that God still had plans for me. Ministering to ministers made all the difference for me.
I'm Kathy Ralsowitz, and I'm Executive Director of Ministering to Ministers Foundation, which was formed in 1994 by Reverend Dr. Charles H. Chandler. We serve ministers who have experienced conflict or forced termination in their churches. We have ministered to over 1,150 ministers and their spouses through our Healthy Transitions Wellness Retreats.
Our retreats are for pastors and spouses who have experienced termination, forced termination. Sometimes they're there because they're concerned about a conflict that's going on that could end up in a termination.
One of the things I try to do as a facilitator in the wellness retreats is to help foster a climate of welcome to people when they come. I have seen over the years people who are coming with a lot of anxieties to be with a group of people that they have never met before, to share some of the deep hurts and pains they have in their life. So I feel that part of my role is to use the structure that we have to allow the group to interact with one another and to share stories and find a place where they feel they can share and trust one another and work on building hope from that relationship.
Ministers will call our office or send us emails through our website telling us a brief history of what's happened. As first responders, it's our job to listen to them, to give them all the time they need to tell their stories.
As a clinician, which is my role, I'm a psychologist and a mental health provider, and as a clinician, my role is to help them begin to deal with their grief, and that's part of what we do in our retreats. We also help them learn more about themselves. We have another ways for them to begin to explore a little bit of who they are and how they can begin to move forward in a healthy way. We're teaching them some skills for doing that and some strategies for moving toward healing and health.
The wellness retreats are held at different locations, mostly in the eastern half of the United States. Ministering to Ministers has been partnering with Samford University in Birmingham, Alabama since June of 2000. Columbia Theological Seminary in Decatur, Georgia began partnering with us in 2018.
I've been moved by the work that MTM has done to help pastors and families suffering from the pain of forced termination. Forced termination is terrible in any career, but I think particularly in the ministry where pastors often have fewer legal and financial resources to help them in the case of forced termination.
In a previous ministry position where I served as an associate pastor working primarily with children and youth, I was forced to resign. My foundation shook beneath my feet. But at the recommendation of a ministry colleague, I got in touch with Ministering to Ministers. It renewed our sense of call. It reminded us that we are capable, that we are gifted, and are not damaged goods, and we should not be ashamed.
The first time I went, I was very reluctant. I felt embarrassed. I felt ashamed. And yet the folks who are involved with MTM were gracious. They were kind. They were loving. They reaffirmed me as a person and my calling as well.
Ministering to Ministers retreat reintroduced me to the possibility of hope and helped me make space for myself in my own life once again.
Several years ago, I participated in a retreat by Ministering to Ministers, and it really, at that time, I was going through some difficult challenges and transitions. I had been told by my pastor I was not called to ministry, and when I went to Ministering to Ministers, I found healing, I found support, I found a community of people who were willing to listen carefully and to help me to navigate my next steps in life.
Thank you for your interest in our ministry. I invite you to visit our website at www.mtmfoundation.org for more information. Thank you.